You know what this is? WCW Slamboree 95.
This is ugly. I had, and me and Paul were talking before we started recording this. And it both took us 3 times to get through the show.
3 times.
And I really had to rewatch a couple of these matches. Just I had to rewatch them over and over again because I'm like, shit, what the fuck did I just watch? What happened?
Poor quality everywhere. And actually, as of recording this, I have to go back and grab the last 45 minutes of Slamboree, so I have to watch the last 45 minutes
Good luck with that.
again. So,
better you than me.
So 95 Slamboree, it's known as a Legends Reunion. We'll get to that in a few. We have Eric Bischoff and Bobby the Brain Heenan on commentary, which makes for a great pair, even though I do love Tony Schiavone.
Schiavone was out with, he was getting neck surgery at the time.
That's right, he was. They did make reference to that. I should know. Well, we should know because we watched the show 3 times.
Bischoff was a lot better than I thought he would be, that I remember.
On his first major broadcast, because I think this was his first
Bischoff
major
was good.
one.
He was good.
So they're at the Bayfront Arena in St. Pete, Florida on May 21st. 7,000 fans in attendance, and the buy rate for this show is 110,000, which is probably right around where we would need, where we would think the In Your House 1 would be.
I also saw that it was only about 4,500 paid. So
Out of the 7,000. So
much like WCW.
A typical WCW crowd where the people that paid, if they found out that there's free people in there, it would be a riot. So we go right into the first match, and this match sets the absolute fucking tone of the show for what's about to come. And you said you liked it.
I liked it.
I'll rip it to shreds, and I'll tell you why. So it's the Nasty Boys against Harlem Heat, and Harlem Heat's with Sherry, who was clearly coked out of her mind for this match.
Sherry was the star of this match. Sherry was great.
And she,
she took so many bumps. I did not expect. I didn't remember Sherry taking this many bumps. She was bumping all over the place.
She was all over the place.
Yeah.
Coming out, cutting promo as she's walking.
Yep.
So
she
Harlem
looked like a big star.
Harlem Heat has the tag titles. They're on the line for the match against the Nasty Boys. But an issue I had was when Harlem Heat comes out, the whole way from the back to the ring, all 3 of them have something to say to the cameraman, and they're just going on and on and on to the cameraman. Okay? That does me nothing. There's an arena full of people.
Yeah, you can't really hear them.
You can't really hear them.
Yeah.
So then when the Nasty Boys comes out, it's just Sags.
Yeah.
It's
because,
just Sags.
Brian Knopf got hurt on the pre-show.
On the pre-show,
yeah.
Which I think that there were matches prior to the airing of this. I think they used for Saturday night. Mm-hmm. I think that's what happened. Yeah. It's just Sags coming out solo. So he's going to wrestle these guys by himself for the tag team titles. No knobs, just Sags.
Got a lot of heart.
He had a lot of heart. Harlem Heat, again, they're cutting too many camera promos because now when Sags is in the ring, Harlem Heat's just in the camera again, cutting promos.
I think they just had to
kill time.
That was their story, just killing time.
So
Knobs made the big save.
So when we get later in the show, there's a match that doesn't go long enough, to my opinion, and I think that we didn't need to kill time with all this bullshit.
Probably not.
No,
there was a lot of weird shit on this show. So.
Yeah, and this match is one of them.
The crowd was really into this match.
So Sherry cuts a promo into the camera. I mean, this is before the match has even started. There's just everyone. Hey, come here, cameraman. Just get in my face and let me just say a little something. During the match, there's a spot where Sags actually hits Sherry. Mm-hmm. How often do you see a woman valet manager? That was a little risque in '95, and she gets decked.
Yeah, it was. But Sherry always took a lot of bumps.
Well, because she was a wrestler. Because she actually wrestled.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
But just to see the open hand shot and the pop that it got from the crowd, I mean, it was ridiculous. Sags,
she fell to the outside. She was bumping all over the place.
Bumped all over the place. Sags is beating both of these guys soundly. They're the tag team champions, Harlem Heat. Jerry Sags is in here, not selling shit. It's just move after move. I mean, this is inhuman. There's an awful Stevie Ray leg drop from the top rope or the middle rope where he comes down and stands for half a second and then drops the leg. That made no sense to me.
Stevie Ray was kind of that kind of work.
He sucked.
Well, they thought at the time, Stevie Ray was going to be the big star.
Because he was bigger?
Yeah. Yeah, they thought he was going to be the star, not Booker T.
Right. So awful Stevie Ray leg drop. Knobbs comes out 3/4 of the way through. I mean, his ribs are heavily fucking bandaged.
Yeah, got a huge pop. Did a huge.
Got a huge pop. Okay. Got a huge pop. And he beats 2 guys up with no problem. He does not sell the ribs, the back, whatever the fuck is supposed to be taped up.
No, he didn't really sell anything.
He sold absolutely none of it. He comes out. So okay, here's a recap. Sags comes out first, beats up Harlem Heat. The tables start to turn on Sags. Then Knobbs comes out, and then Knobbs gets tagged in, and then he beats up Harlem Heat with his whole midsection wrapped up. Mm-hmm. That's garbage. He's not selling shit. I have written down in my notes, this match was such bullshit. And it's not like it was even effective. I mean, I gave this match 1/4 star.
That's pretty rough.
And that's with a title change, because when Knobbs came out, he never tagged out. He stayed in the ring for 4 minutes, murdered Sherry, got the pin, and that's it.
It was a hell of a hot tag.
I mean, this is ridiculous. What the fuck? That's the opening match. That's WCW at its finest, where the rules don't matter. Where the big boys play is where the rules don't fucking matter.
Pretty much. I thought 2 stars. I thought the crowd was really into this.
2 stars.
It was a decent opener for me. I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah, but the crowd was in most of the show.
They were. The crowd was very hot for having such a bad show.
Oh, and this is probably the worst match. No, I take that back. The second worst match on the card.
I don't know. We're going to get into that. I don't know if it was. There was some bad shit on this show.
There's the post-match promo.
Yep.
Where,
the Blue Bloods.
There's that. The Blue Bloods.
Nasty Boys just screaming into the mic.
Nasty Boys screaming into the mic. Sags really wants to put over Nasty Sensation. He says that about 4 or 5 times. Yeah. It's not sticking. I mean, but he's trying. Just a 1/4 star. 2 stars for Steve. Right. Moving along, we have a Kevin. You thought it was fun.
I did think it was fun.
I thought it was fun ripping it to shreds. I was offended watching it. We have a Kevin Sullivan promo, which made absolutely no sense. My head wanted to explode. I get that he's scared.
He's really just like
of Hulk. Is he scared of Hulkamania? Is that what's going on?
I don't know what's going on here, but he wasn't all there.
He wasn't all there.
It's cold, and aren't you? Isn't it cold in here?
Yeah.
Gene's like, no, it's like 85, and they said that like 3 times. So Kevin Sullivan was always a really big mystery to me.
He was. I mean, he made more sense than he was the Taskmaster. But in this point,
well, we're getting to that.
This is the birth of the Taskmaster. This is the Dungeon of Doom birth. But man, was it wild and made no sense. So we have Kevin Sullivan against the man with no name.
The man with no name.
Formerly known as the Butcher, formerly known as Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Man with 1,000 gimmicks, Ed Leslie.
Ed Leslie. You know, I met him once.
Did you?
At a signing. What was he like?
Yeah. Forgettable?
Yes. No, actually, unforgettable. Ed Leslie's actually a really good dude. I talked with him for like 45 minutes, and I didn't get anything signed. I was just talking with him.
Well, he's probably a nice guy.
Yeah, no, he was a nice guy. But yeah, he wasn't a nice guy in this match. He made me want to stab my eyes out. It looked like he was wearing gray sweatpants, first of all. That looked weird.
Well, he's a man with no name.
Yeah, but you could have trunks. You can come out with red. Folks,
he's very big here. Like, a lot bigger than I remember.
He was puffy. Yeah, he was definitely puffy. I don't know if it was a redub for the entrance music from the WWE people.
There was a lot of that on this show, so it could have been.
Because Kevin Sullivan's entrance music, my God, was that awesome. Kevin Sullivan did murder Brutus's balls.
Yeah.
In this match, where he went into a knee strike in the corner when Brutus was up in the Tree of Woe, and his knee caught him flush in the nuts. Brutus.
That was a Sullivan spot that he would do in his matches.
But in this case, it just looked like the crown of his knee Caught Brudai right in his beefcakes. So Sullivan leaves by the crowd because there's an interruption at the end of the match with this random guy.
It was King Curtis Iakea.
That's
the
who
big
it
star
was.
in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
He played like this, like the Godfather of the Dungeon of Doom.
Because I went into this cold, not knowing what was going on, because I never watched the Saturday nights.
I love the Dungeon of Doom, by the way.
Oh.
They're one of my favorite groups. So.
Dungeon of Doom was good. I liked when I caught
so
them
bad
with
that it
Nitro. Right, when I caught them with Nitro, feuding with Hogan, and when Hogan lost his colors, that was always an interesting time.
Yeah.
But I mean, this match and this ending.
The ending I liked because, well, not the ending of the match, but everything afterwards with
When he's walking through the crowd with the man
And-
talking.
and he's saying, "Come forth, my son," and this was really like just the beginning of the whole Dungeon of Doom. And I really liked it. That part I liked. I
Right.
could do without the match. But
Right. Because we basically saw almost the entire Dungeon of Doom in this show in separate matches doing separate things.
Well, Ed Leslie was one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. We saw almost all of them. The only one we were missing was the Barbarian.
Yeah.
That was it.
Wasn't on the
Everybody made an appearance.
show. Even
Well,
the Giant was on the
even
show.
the Giant at the very end, we're going to get there, because he actually looked really cool when he
did.
was standing there.
They
But
did really good.
what would you rate this match with Sullivan and Man with No Name?
1 star.
Well, I gave it 3/4 star.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't good. It wasn't bad enough to give half a star or less, but it wasn't good enough to give a star too, in my opinion.
One thing that, like a running theme of the matches in the show, is just guys in the ring with absolutely nothing happening at all. And that's what happened in the match.
But that's 1995.
Yeah.
So what I have written down next is that we cut to a backstage promo. It's Hogan, Macho Man,
The Macho Maniacs.
the Macho Maniacs.
Yeah.
This promo was brought to you by cocaine.
Yeah, this was your typical just insanity, like Savage. I don't know. Hogan's talking about the backstroke and swinging and like I don't know.
Putting all the Hulkamaniacs on his back and
This was like your typical Hogan promo that was just insane. It worked because he had energy and he, you know.
Hogan rambles for quite a bit.
Yeah, he had a lot of charisma, but man, it went nowhere.
He also says,
Let me smell that Slim Jim breath, brother. Whoa.
and he sold the breath. This promo went on, I felt like, for too long.
It was like 5 minutes.
It was like 5 minutes of just Hogan and Macho Man rambling with Jimmy Hart trying to kill time. I mean, so after that,
The funny thing is that I just want to say, like, why, if Hogan's gonna talk and Savage is gonna talk the whole time, why do they have managers?
and why is it Jimmy Hart?
I don't know why. If you, to me, you need a manager. Like, if you can't talk, but like Hogan having a manager makes no fucking sense to me at all.
None. He never should have had him. Like, what was his manager when he was a bad guy? Was it the Wizard?
Yeah, in like the late 70s.
It was the Wizard, and it was also Classy Freddie Blassie was his manager too. But that's it. When
If you're a
Hogan
heel,
got
though,
big,
I understand.
right?
But if you're like a main event face,
but when
there's
you're
no-
Hulk fucking Hogan, you don't need a manager.
yeah, I agree.
The Renegade needs a manager. We'll get to him in a minute. So when we come back, the camera goes to black and white, and we have our Legends match, baby.
I think was this like a regular Slamboree thing? I think.
It was their theme for
Yeah.
Slamboree that each year they would have Legends coming, but this year was Wahoo McDaniel against Dick Murdoch.
And Wahoo McDaniel was actually he did wrestle on the Indies. He looked so old and so fat though here.
Yep. So did Dick Murdoch.
This was really, really, really,
Really tough
really,
to watch.
really bad.
So this
This
match
is probably
went.
the worst match I've ever seen in my life.
No, the worst match I ever saw in my life was the opener to this show.
No way.
Yes.
The opener.
Yes.
Worse than this.
Well, actually, no. Later on in the show, actually, the whole second half of this show is like no stars, really. So I don't. This match went 6 minutes.
6 minutes too long.
It went 6 minutes. You got two guys. What were they in their 60s, presumably?
Had to be.
Going 6 minutes.
Yeah.
That's too much. What was the finish?
Chop.
A chop.
A backhanded chop.
Yeah.
And
A chop. The only thing that was good about this,
black and white.
but we had 6 minutes of Gordon Soley.
Yeah, I mean, no, Gordon Soul is great. So.
It's always great.
Yeah.
It's always good to hear like
It's
the
always
voice
good
of
to
wrestling.
Fucking garbage into something.
Right. And this was garbage. And they didn't really comment about the match. They just kept saying, "Don't adjust your television sets, folks. This is black and white for a reason." So after so I gave it half a star. What'd you give it?
Oh God, -2.
-2.
Okay, so this is
-2.
one of the worst matches I've ever seen. This was really, really bad. I mean, you don't expect much going into a Legends match, but this was really, really bad.
-2 stars, Steve.
Yeah.
I gave it 1/2 positive because Gordon Soley.
Yeah.
He didn't save it for you?
No.
Not at
Not
all.
even Gordon Soley can save this.
So we transition from this match. We go to the back where there's Big Bubba cutting a promo. You didn't like any promo on this show, but I like this Big Bubba promo.
No, not really. Yeah. I mean, it was fine. This one I didn't hate.
I thought this was one of his best promos
Yeah.
that he's probably ever cut, and he's not known for really cutting promos. This one was good.
Yeah, I think it was a return match with Sting.
It was, and it was for a lights out match, and he got to the point, and he didn't stumble on any words, which was amazing. If I was to give any promos stars, I would give that one 3, which would be the highest star of the whole show would be that promo.
It did its job.
It did its
wasn't
job.
bad by any means.
So after that, the screen goes to color out in the crowd, and we get the Great Muta versus Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff
For the IWGP title.
for the IWGP title on American soil on WCW television on pay-per-view. What did you think of this match?
Well, one of the best things about early 90s WCW was the whole connection with New Japan and
Yep.
you know, and Mexico, and they would bring in a lot of these international stars that were really good at the time.
Which-
Unfortunately, nothing happened in this match at all.
Not in the match, but also 1996, the first WCW video game where it's WCW versus the World.
I remember that game, yeah.
That had they weren't using their real names, but there were people from New Japan and from Mexico were in the game. So you had a lot of people actually Great Muta was in there as a playable character, just so you know.
Muta was a great worker, but I don't think this was a really good. I don't think it was a really good mesh of styles. Orndorff worked a really slow style here, and a lot of rest holds, and that wasn't just wasn't a good match for Muta, who kind of just phoned it in.
He did phone it in.
Tell.
You know,
He didn't really do much.
you want to know what's great about Muta though is that he did just kind of mail it in, as you say, but
He got his good moves in.
he got his good moves in, and he looked amazing either way.
He did.
But when he's on, it's almost like he's like the Japanese version of Davey Boy Smith. When he's on, and when he phones it in, it's passable.
All right, I mean, it was fine. Yeah, I didn't hate this match.
Yeah.
it was fine. It's just nothing really happened.
The mid-rope elbow spot, I think, in this match is what threw me off. I would have given it a higher rating if it wasn't for this one moment where I forgot which one came off. I think it was Muta that came off the middle rope and dropped an elbow, but Orndorff did not sell it at all. He just got right up, and Muta looked confused, and the commentators didn't know what to say. We must not have got all of that one.
Yeah.
I would have given it probably 3.5 stars.
All right.
But I thought that fucked up the match too much because it totally soured the whole thing for me. I gave it 2.25.
I'll give it 2 stars. It was fine.
2 stars.
But nothing happening at all.
The title did not change hands in American soil. Muta kept the belt and a clean finish. So then we go from there. We get another ridiculous promo in the back where it's Flair, the Enforcer Arn Anderson, and Vader cutting a promo. And you thought Hogan was bad? You get Vader and Flair together. Whenever I see promos and Arn Anderson's involved, I feel for Arn Anderson.
Arn was a great promo.
Because he makes sense.
Yeah.
And he has to always follow people that just fucking ramble, and he gets the mic, and he just makes sense, and it goes back to the ramble, and it totally goes against whatever Arn just said.
Yeah.
Arn Anderson must be the most frustrated worker in the history of wrestling. Has to be.
Yeah. Arn never got a lot of love, but I
I
always
love
liked
Arn
everything
Anderson.
Arn did. Yeah.
Everything Arn did was great.
Yeah.
Daniel Tosh thinks Arn Anderson's garbage, but I think Daniel Tosh is garbage. It's like an ongoing feud. You never seen that?
No.
Arn Anderson actually cut a promo on Daniel Tosh
Really?
once.
I don't know why anybody would hate on
And then they played it on Tosh.0.
Yeah.
It's got to be a work.
I would imagine.
So they have their promo. Vader walks off after giving what we think might be the final segment of the promo, but Flair has something more to say, which makes the whole thing seem weird because Vader walked off. So we leave it at that. And then from there, we go to what you think is the best match in the card. We have Alex Wright against the Enforcer AA Arn Anderson for the television title.
First of all, I missed the television title. It was my favorite title, you know, just always on every show. Well, not on every show, but
On the television show,
Yeah.
Steve?
very good.
Yes.
Very good matches, you know. And, you know, the whole story of the match was just building up Alex Wright and making him look credible in there with someone who could make him look good, Arn Anderson. And I thought they did that really well. I thought they worked well together. I thought it was a good mesh of styles. You know, Alex Wright kind of flew around for Anderson, made him look really, and Arn made him look strong. He sold for all his stuff. It was really good. Alex Wright had to be like 20 years old here.
Yeah, he looked really young. But, I mean, technically the TV title isn't gone. There's the TNT title in AEW.
I know, but
It's the same thing.
WWE never had one.
Fuck them. They don't know what to do with titles. They're out of their friggin' mind. So this one here, I liked it. It was refreshing to go back and hear the Horseman music play when Arn came out, because that Horseman guitar, oh, so good.
Plus, this is kind of like the beginning of their
Them coming back.
feud with Anderson and Flair.
Yeah. Yeah, and with the Horseman
Yep.
reforming later in the year. So we have, in this match, here's what I thought. Slow fucking match, way too many headlocks.
A lot of, yeah, there was. But I mean, I thought the match told a good story, and the story was basically a showcase for Alex, right? Without taking the title off Arn Anderson, and Arn still wins, but it doesn't take away from Alex Wright at all.
Arn was the winner of the match, but the best move of the match, that winner is Alex Wright with his top rope drop kick. That thing was fucking poetry to watch. I mean, I've never seen anybody get that much air in a drop
Yeah,
kick.
he had a good drop kick.
It was
a really good athlete.
Great drop kick. And the finish was good. You had Arn deking him out, hitting that snap DDT.
Yeah.
Fucking
Arn
fantastic.
just kind of like stole the victory, which I really liked.
Love it. And the crowd popped for the DDT as well.
Very good.
So I gave that 1 3/4 stars only because of the too many headlocks and the slow plodding pace in the first half of the match. So it really bogged it down. What
I
did
would
you
say
give?
3 stars.
3
Yeah,
stars.
it was a good match.
I don't think I have anything rated 3 stars
For
on
this
this
show?
whole show.
No, that was definitely the best match of the show.
No, it's 3 stars.
Yeah,
I gave it 1 3/4. Interesting. Okay, so from that we get the what was announced as the special surprise bonus match.
Yeah, they built this up on like the pre-show. Yeah. Hawk
Are you
and Matt.
kidding me? So we have probably the toughest man in the universe, Meng, going up against the crazy son of a bitch, Road Warrior Hawk. How would this end, you ask? Double disqualification, double count out? You're right. So no one's going over anybody.
No.
So what I had
Like
written
a special
down,
challenge
it's a
match.
special
Like,
challenge
double-
match.
yeah,
One of the things I thought was great was when Meng was coming out to the ring, that Bischoff said in a sullen tone, "This man is banned from wrestling in Japan."
Yeah.
They won't even let him set foot in the country.
Bischoff was great here. He
Meng
was.
was banned from the country of Japan.
Yep.
We have to look into this. If anyone wants to give us any kind of research on what the fuck Meng did to get banned from the entire country, my God.
He has pulled guys' eyes out of their fucking.
Yes.
I mean, I don't doubt it. He like bit chunks of people's face off. Like Meng is no fucking joke.
No, he's no joke. I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be in the ring with him at all. But I do like that whatever Meng does for the first half of this match, Hawk just blatantly no sells, which
Oh,
is
that was
great.
Hawk.
He gets
Hawk
hit
never
with
sold anything.
yeah, but I mean you get hit with a pile driver and you just stand right back up.
Just get right back up.
My God.
I don't know what the point of this match was, but it did.
Oh, we're gonna get to the point of this match in a second. So we get a double count out, which is a smart finish. No one goes over either one. I thought the match did its purpose. It really got the crowd back up into it, I think. It was a solid match.
Crowd was into it.
Right? It was a quick match, which was good for who was working. But the real spot of this match, what this match's purpose was the fucking parade of gorgeous mullets that came out to stop the brawl at ringside. There was like 9 mullets. Everybody had a mullet. You weren't allowed to be at ringside breaking up this fight if you didn't have a fucking mullet.
Nope. 95. I did not remember 95 having as many.
It was a thing.
Meng had a great one, too.
Meng had the mullet. I mean, if you're in a room with Meng, he automatically has the best mullet because you tell him it's the best mullet. Even if you have the best mullet, you tell him he has the best mullet. So after that, I gave it 2 stars.
1.5.
1.5.
Nothing happened in this.
Nothing happened. It
They
didn't
built it
serve
up.
any.
Nothing happened.
It didn't serve any purposes except for parading the great mullets they had hanging around the back. That they just said, you know what? You know what this show needs? All you guys sitting around doing nothing, you're gonna go break up a fight. I fucking love your mullets.
That was pretty much what this match.
Pretty much.
Match was just time filler, I guess. But because Meng already had a match on the pre-show.
Right.
where
Yeah, he faced Pillman, I think.
Yeah, he faced Pillman. He didn't sell anything for Pillman at all. Like,
No.
just destroyed Pillman, and then he has this match with Hawk, and Hawk doesn't sell anything, so that made Pillman look really great.
Right. And right, and then and then if you're asking, well, why was Pillman on the pre-show? Is because this was pre-Loose Cannon. This is just before the Loose Cannon.
This was in that period where Pillman didn't get any love.
He got no love because he was still just flying Ryan.
He was great.
He was
probably
great.
One of the best workers in the company. He
Right.
Didn't get anything.
Didn't get anything. But much later on in the year, we're gonna get some great Brian Pillman shit.
Oh God, I can't wait for that. I love Pillman.
So 2 stars. 1.5 stars. That moves us to the Hall of Fame segment, which I think went way too long. This
It
one,
did, but it was the best thing on the show.
it was the best thing on the show, but it went like a half an hour.
Yeah, it did.
If I'm paying for a pay-per-view, I don't want a half an hour of no action.
No, had young Cody. Cody was like 11 years old.
Yeah, he was out there with Dusty.
Yeah.
It was it was a good class. I love that. Was it the Giant Baba that got inducted?
Yeah.
He got,
Dusty
like,
Rhodes.
Giant Baba had no pop whatsoever. I mean, there
A lot
was
of people don't know who he is.
because no one down there knew who he was. I think where were they? They were in
Florida.
Florida. Yeah, no one fucking knows who, which is a shame because he's like one of the icons of wrestling, and I felt bad that there was like no crowd reaction at all. It's like, you realize who you're in the presence of? Get the fuck on your feet.
I like the way they did this whole thing. That was really classy, really prestigious. You know, they made it seem like a really big deal, and there was no angle in this whole thing. Like this whole segment,
It was pure.
Yeah, it was good.
It was pure, which I liked, and I also thought too that there was a surprise induction at the end because Gordon Soley was out there, telling giving the read down of all the wrestlers and everything. Excuse me. And at the end, Dusty said that there's one more, and it was going to be Gordon Soley, and it seemed like that was legit because of Gordon Soley's reaction. If it was a work, the man deserves an Oscar.
I mean, reading the Observer before today, they said that it was pretty well known fact that they were going to do it, but they still presented it like it was a surprise. Gordon Soley did a good job.
It was great. I mean, it was a
meant a lot
genuine
to
moment because you read that. I didn't read that, so when I watched it the 3 times that I did, it looked like it was genuine to me. So it came off as genuine. And the first time I watched, I got a little choked up for Gordon. I mean,
I think it meant a lot to Gordon Soley.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're like the voice of Southern wrestling for so long.
Yeah,
So yeah, good job, and it was great on WCW for doing that. We could check off one of those boxes of something that they did right, all 12 things that they did right in the history of themselves. So then we come out of that, and we get to the Lights Out match with Sting versus Big Bubba Rogers. What did you think of this one? Yeah?
Not much going on.
Not much going on at all.
Another nothing match.
It was a nothing match. I felt like this match should have gone on after Hogan and Savage, because it's...
Have the main event.
Well, no, it's a lights out match. So you have your whole show, turn the lights off, turn them back on, and then you have this match because it's unsanctioned. I think for effect of these matches moving forward, I feel like the ring crew should be present disassembling the ring while the match is going on because this is not sanctioned by the company.
You can do that.
I'm just saying. Now, parking lot's dumb. I hate parking lot matches. Those are dumb. But if you want something that looks kind of cool, is you have these lights out matches after the actual show and have it with the ring crew breaking down the whole fucking set. Do that. See what that looks like.
Good luck with that.
Someone's watching. So Sting versus Big Bubba, I thought there was okay spots. I thought that you actually had a powder spot that worked for once in the right spot. I mean, that actually looked okay. The table bumps were horrific.
These were a lot of Sting matches in this time period.
Yeah, short and stupid.
The crowd is really into it.
Because it's Sting.
Yeah.
It took forever to get going because he had to do his woo out to the crowd.
Yep. Sting was a big star here.
Yeah, Sting was a huge megastar. Sting goes over. Surprisingly enough, it wasn't with a pinfall or something ridiculous with weapons or anything. He got him in the Scorpion Deathlock.
Yeah, Bubba Rogers put him over pretty well, and he
Yeah.
tapped out to him, and this was really good.
Yeah, this was good.
I mean, if you wanted to build up Sting here, you built him up. So that's all you really needed from this match.
This is actually my highest rated match on the card. I gave this one 2.5 stars.
I'd say 2. It was fine.
2?
Nothing I would really be like. Nothing I would ever want to go back and watch again. I'll say that.
So I mean, it doesn't get better from here because up next, the main event of the evening.
Yeah.
This is what we bring out Michael Buffer for. Okay, this is big time stuff. So we have.
Michael Buffer was the best part of this match.
He really was. Actually, the best part about this match was when they faded to black. Flair and Vader with Arn Anderson at ringside, going up against, what was their name? It's awful. Their team name, Hogan and Savage. And
Oh, it was the Macho Maniac.
the Macho Maniacs with the fucking Renegade.
Yeah, the Renegade, they came out first, and then the Renegade,
Well, it looked like he was
Laying
it looked like Hogan was looking for the Renegade because when the pyros went off, he looked back for a half a second and then seemed disappointed, and then we didn't know where the Renegade was when he was billed to come out with them the whole show. Oh, and they have the Renegade. There's no Renegade walking to the ring. The Renegade gets his own music, his own entrance, and he ran out looking like he took a dump in his trunks.
he was something else, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
But we talk about the best part of the match. The best part of the match wasn't Michael Buffer. It was the Giant hanging out by the curtain.
Came out. Yeah, he didn't do anything. He just came out and kind of leered at Hogan.
Just hung out by the curtain, which is all you need to do. You just have this guy who's 7'5" just hang out at the curtain.
Yeah,
It's
they
who the
said
fuck
he
is
looked
that?
Like he was 8 feet tall.
Well, they weren't far off. I mean, he's probably the tallest guy there. I mean, him and Baba, but he's taller than Baba.
I think so. Giant's a legit 7'1".
Yeah.
But they build him as 7'5".
Yeah, but yeah, no, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's probably 20 years old at that time. He was really young.
So one thing I would take away from this is, can you name anybody in wrestling at this point in time who was more intimidating than fucking Vader?
No, Vader was a beast, and he worked like a beast.
He was and it just his look, the way that he worked. I mean, 1995 is peak Vader.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he kind of had to slow down a lot because the guys he was in there with was not a good match for Vader. It was just Vader needs something smaller, someone that's quick, that's going to challenge him a little bit, and he had this match was just filled with these old guys who could barely move, and it was like watching Flair and Savage when they were just past their prime, and it's just there were little glimpses of Flair and Savage that were good in this match that kind of almost saved it, and then you would get a hot tag from Hogan who was just blown up after 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it was just ugly.
I know. I did
your grandfather's putting on a match.
Right. It's what it looked like. I did enjoy Flair bumping all over the place.
Flair was great with his bumping.
Flair was great with his bumping. He gave us the face first fall down going up the aisle. That was great. We did the over the top turnbuckle spot. Gets the big boot in the face in the apron. Walks down the steps, and then face plants in the aisle. And then there was an awkward scuffle where both guys went around the other side of the ring away from each other. It looked odd.
There was this match kind of made sense for a little bit, and then it just started. It was just a fucking mess.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
This whole show was a mess. I mean, I do not recommend going back and watching it. I don't think I'm ever going to watch it ever again.
Like yourself. Watch this.
Unfortunately, I have to watch it one more time when I make this video final and we submit it. I mean, the match made no sense whatsoever.
It was a lot of WCW main events at the time.
It was Hogan going over the world. That's what this time was. I gave the match 1 star, mostly because of Flair's bumping.
Yeah, I'll give it half a star.
It wasn't much to write home.
Nothing.
The
best thing about the match was the post match where Angelo Poffo came in.
That's right, I forgot about Angelo Poffo.
And then Macho had to come back and save him.
Right.
That was a nice little spot.
It was okay. And then that's how they end the show. They end the show with Macho Man screaming out for an ambulance.
Yep.
And
They attacked the 70-year-old man. And
Right.
They got Flair and Arn the heat back again.
right, that they lost because the match was fucking awful. Whatever. I mean, as a whole, this show, I gave it 1.1 stars.
Yeah, 1 star.
1 star.
Yeah, it was bad. It was a really bad show. Like, just nothing happening on the show at all.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to change anything about this show, it would be Sting and Bubba after the Hogan Savage match. But there's probably something in Hogan's contract that said he had to go on last.
I mean, I think Hogan
Yeah.
was definitely going on last.
Right.
So
I don't know.